I took care of my childhood friend with chronic illness for 18 years. Only for him to drown me in the lake after his recovery. The same hands that once held an engagement ring now viciously clamped around my neck. His eyes burned with hatred. Without you, I wouldn't have been called a spineless coward hiding behind a woman's skirts. I wouldn't have missed out on Mia all these years. Now that this miracle cured me, why aren't you dead yet? He never considered that thousands of sleepless nights in my lab had created his so-called miracle. When I reopened my eyes, I'd been reborn. Mia Thompson was urging Ethan Sullivan to join the track meet. He looked at me with hopeful timidity. "See, can I?" The familiar voice sliced through my lingering nightmares. "Ethan, we need one more runner for the men's 400-meter dash. Will you participate?" "No." I shuddered. Memories flooding back. Our honeymoon's first night. Ethan choking me before shoving me overboard. The lake's chill less icy than his gaze. I surfaced splashing desperately. "Have you gone mad? What are you doing?" The man I loved glared through bloodshot eyes. "Emily Clark. You always control everything. Without you." His paddle struck repeatedly until the water stilled. Drowning. I watched my murderer keep swinging. My greatest regret? Wasting years saving this ingrate. In the classroom, Ethan's fleeting excitement vanished when Mia frowned. He snapped coldly, "Emily, why block me? The meet concerns our whole class." "I deserve this." Mia raised her voice. "It's Ethan's choice. Who are you to decide?" Arctic waters still haunted my bones. I turned away. Ethan's congenital condition barred strenuous activity. I'd carried water buckets he pretended to lift. Completed every manual task he dodged. Yet whenever I shielded him, he'd sulk like I stole his glory. I bore the burdens. He kept the credit. My human shield, a truth I'd realized too late. Now, redemption beckoned. Ignoring Ethan's glare, I snatched spicy strips from my desk. "Mate. Mine now." "Stop." I pinned the squirming thief. Feigning confusion. "Block what? The track meet? It's honorable." Who'd object? My exaggerated local accent made classmates swivel heads. "Unless." I trailed off meaningfully. Students stared at Ethan's suddenly constipated expression. This prideful man would rather die than admit physical limitations publicly. In the past, I'd always resorted to throwing tantrums to stop him from going. To this day, many probably still remember me as that overly possessive girl. Ethan was like a parasitic tumor, feeding on my protection while pushing me into thorns. Now, it was time to cut it out. And I'd stab it a few extra times for good measure. "Sports day, you're going whether you like it or not," I declared. Ethan stared blankly, likely thinking I'd lost my mind. He leaned closer and asked, "Emily, can I go?" His eyes flickered with fragile hope, like a child begging for candy. Yet beneath it lurked a challenge. What an act! I grabbed his hand dramatically. "Ethan, are you hesitating? Share your concerns, we'll help." I mimicked Mia's saccharine tone, eyes wide with fake sincerity. His face tightened. "Just say you don't want me there. Emily. Stop playing games." I blinked innocently. Why would my opinion matter? "It's your choice." My desk mate Emma snorted, swallowing a spicy strip before snapping. "Quit dragging your feet. Since when does Emily run your life? Did your kindergarten teacher skip the be a big boy lesson?" Whispers rippled through the class. Side eyes piled onto Ethan. "Yeah. Remember when he made Emily decide his chores?" Someone muttered. "And that time he skipped book duty blaming her?" Ethan's face flushed mottled red before he finally hissed, "Fine. I'll join. Don't regret this. Emily." Emma rolled her eyes. "Drama queen." Mia shot me a honeyed smile dripping with rivalry. I grinned back, teeth bared wider. "Go ahead, Ethan. Your mess is yours now." But every tear I shed, You'll drown in them. Seeing Ethan's name confirmed on the sports day roster, I practically floated home. But some people exist solely to ruin moods. The woman shelling sunflower seeds at my doorstep scowled. Emily, where's Ethan? It felt like sprinting through a meadow only to step in dog crap. Linda had spent years gushing about me as her future daughter-in-law. Shouting in-laws. Whenever she saw my mom, the neighborhood gradually treated it as fact, much to my mother's fury. Not that I minded then. Back when I was the hopeless fool crushing on the pale, delicate boy next door. I'd wait every dawn to walk Ethan to school, enduring tardy slips because he couldn't wake early. Rain or shine, I carried both our backpacks. Emily should take care of Ethan, he's fragile. Right? Little me had nodded solemnly, sealing my fate. Behind me trailed a slow-moving boy. That departure lasted 8 years. Looking at the impatient woman before me, it seemed like the first time I hadn't thought of Ethan at all. A good sign. I was about to laugh out loud when Linda glared at me. Emily, you're still laughing? How can you be so thoughtless? Ethan's health is so fragile. If something happens when you're not with him, how could I ever entrust him to you in the future? I tilted my head. I had to go to the hospital today. Linda rolled her eyes and interrupted impatiently. You should have taken Ethan home first. Can't even prioritize what's important? Go find Ethan right now. That bossy tone was exactly like when she demanded my firstborn must be a son. I glanced around. There didn't seem to be any surveillance cameras here. Old hag. I've wanted to punch you for so long. Before I could throw a punch, the nearby door slammed open. My elegant mother walked out holding a broom. So much filth these days. Can't even keep the house clean. And now there's vermin outside. She shot me a glare before greeting Linda with false sweetness. Well, since your son isn't dead, look how unhurried this mother is. Sending my daughter to find your son. Or afraid I'll see who you're hiding in there. Ah, that familiar warmth. I sniffled, it smelled like home. Linda wasn't someone to provoke. But only toward me. Facing my mother. She just stood there red-faced. Hands on hips. Not daring to retort. Another victory for Mom. Even in my past life, she'd always disliked Linda. Back then I didn't understand. Trying desperately to smooth things over. It wasn't until I married Ethan that Mom broke down for the first time. Holding me while sobbing. I thought she just couldn't bear to let me go. But on my wedding night, when I caught Linda secretly sprinkling male infant ashes on our marriage bed, I finally understood Mom had always been better at judging character. Dragged inside by my ear, Mom's eyes burned with frustrated disappointment. Why the hospital? Are you sick? I clung to her arm with an ingratiating smile. Mom, I was just messing with her. Even after reaching the top of my field in my past life, starting over still meant memorizing textbooks. Holding a book while listening to the chorus of recitations became my rare moment of leisure. In the past, waiting for Ethan meant I often missed morning study sessions. I'd wasted too much time on him, fetching meals, buying snacks, even soothing his sudden moods. Missed classes had to be made up with all-nighters. My younger self had dreamed of becoming as capable as Dad, powerful enough to cure everyone's illnesses. Part of why I'd liked Ethan was because he'd been the first person who needed my protection. I became his bodyguard on the streets and maid in daily life, all unpaid. I really wanted to slap my past self. Glancing at the empty desk behind me, I casually slapped awake the dozing Emma. This time, I'll protect more people who deserve it. Being yanked awake while trying to catch up on sleep is utterly annoying. What's worse was turning my head to see Ethan staring back. His face wore a pitiful expression like an abandoned puppy. Emily, why didn't you wait for me this morning? Irritation prickled my nerves as I shoved him away. Back off! Don't you know we've got math next period? Quit disturbing my nap. The lanky boy looked genuinely shocked. His angular face frozen. Emily, You pushed me? His expression darkened as realization struck. Are you mad because I walked home with Mia last night? I have every right to make friends. Who are you to control me? Ethan's voice escalated, face flushing crimson as veins bulged in his neck. Curious classmates began peering over from neighboring seats. Well, so much for sleeping. I sat up wearily, meeting his furious gaze head-on. Ethan, I don't care who you hang with. Walking to school together was just convenient before. But let's face it, you're exhausting. We're in high school now. I can't afford distractions anymore. A muscle twitched near his eye, the same tick he'd get when refusing medicine as a child. You're just trying to manipulate me into crawling back. The harder you push, the more repulsive you become. Maybe you should learn from Mia how to be considerate. His bitter words echoed that fragile pride of the deeply insecure, always perceiving slights where none existed. Honestly, Ethan, I'm done with this. For several heartbeats, he simply stared before snorting derisively. You're jealous. Mia and I were talking about the sports meet. Stop imagining nonsense. He rolled his eyes with exaggerated patience. Fine. I'll walk home with you tonight. Happy now? When I blinked in confusion, he snapped impatiently, breakfast. You always bring mine. Stop playing dumb. Are you insane? I shot back. Pay me first. Since when am I your personal caretaker? Ethan's eyes blazed at the perceived insult. Emily, shut your mouth if you can't speak properly. He lunged forward, bony hands slamming my desk. I'm warning you, don't test me. The scent of cheap perfume announced Emma's arrival before her chair scraped across the floor. Mia wedged herself between us. Saccharine smile in place. Ethan, some people are born heartless. Don't waste energy. She produced a bento box with fluttery eyelashes. Have my breakfast. After school, there's something I want to discuss. Her rosy cheeks and intense gaze left little imagination. I'd seen this routine before, Mia's sweet exterior masking ruthless ambition. She'd smear reputations, orchestrate bullying campaigns, eliminate obstacles without hesitation. Yet the boy I'd once protected remained blissfully ignorant of the rot beneath those pristine petals. Last chance. Emily. Ethan glared while retreating. Bring breakfast tomorrow. Don't make Mia clean up your messes again. Delusional prick. Emma muttered as they left. Should have sent him to psych ward when we had the chance. And Mia's blatant lies? Treating everyone like idiots. The classroom buzzed with whispers. But I simply reopened my math textbook. Some battles weren't worth fighting, especially when the war had already been lost years ago. The surrounding classmates chimed in agreement. I lowered my head and grimaced. That guy was insane. Ethan's condition strictly prohibited intense physical activity. In my previous life, I'd stopped him from participating in the sports meet, only to be labeled a controlling maniac. He watched me become socially isolated without ever explaining the truth. According to others, I was this possessive monster who treated people like toys, making my bullying justified. I'd been publicly humiliated right in front of Ethan, though he'd looked frantic during this so-called righteous judgment. Pacing anxiously, he never brought any teachers even after the crowd dispersed. After that incident, I became terrified of human interaction. Gradually, Ethan became my only friend, constantly promising he'd always stay by my side. This lifetime, keeping my distance would be my own salvation. But not kicking him once would leave me eternally unsatisfied. Around this time, Dad's research was about to make significant progress. In my past life, Ethan had been selected for the experimental treatment program, his health improving enough to survive until my groundbreaking medical breakthrough. But luck never favors one person forever. Especially not self-destructive fools. Ethan, I can't wait to see your face when your condition deteriorates and your name's excluded from the treatment list. Let's witness how your mistress mother fights for inheritance without your precious health. Linda had skills. I'll give her that. How else would she have seduced into the Sullivan family? Though her luck ran thin, requiring multiple abortions before finally bearing Ethan. Whether from karma or human intervention, the boy emerged as a sickly creature where exercise wasn't just strenuous but life-threatening. That's why my steps faltered seeing him with Mia on the track field. Oh ho! Matching couples athletic wear too. Emma slurped her popsicle, teeth chattering from brain freeze. I fished sunflower seeds from her pocket, eyes gleaming. We watched nearly 10 minutes of warm-up stretches, anticipating him coughing up blood. Perhaps unable to endure Mia's increasingly odd glances, Ethan finally approached the runway. Suddenly, my gut twisted with foreboding. Sure enough, that bastard's eyes locked onto me like heat-seeking missiles. Emily, are you done yet? Under the floodlights, Ethan's face showed mockery tinged with forced patience. First you forced me to sign up. Now you're blocking my training. Are you mentally ill? His special talent remained shifting all blame onto others. Emma flushed crimson with rage. I gripped her arm tightly. Her slap could genuinely endanger Ethan's fragile health. Risking academic consequences wasn't worth it. My gaze swept over Ethan's slightly faded but well-fitted blue tracksuit. This vibrant version of him felt unfamiliar. We'd both hated sportswear growing up, though I'd briefly loved that pink bear print set Dr. David gave me, its collar embroidered with that hideous sunflower. That night was my 10th birthday. Mom had waited by the door for hours, finally dragging home a disgruntled man moments before I fainted from hunger. He resembled the man in the photo she'd pointed at, demanding I call Dad. This father figure stayed perpetually absent, his shadow scarcely existing in my memories. My mom was so busy she could single-handedly shut down everyone who called me a fatherless bastard. I rarely saw Dr. David Clark, but I remember every word he said to me that night. He sat me on his lap, his bandaged finger pointing at a sunflower. Emily, he said, Daddy's working on something very important. It's hard to be with you now, but I want you to grow like this sunflower, always facing hope. Even when life gets muddy and heavy, keep walking toward the light. I'll always be with you. Mom was actually happy that night. She didn't scold me even when I got cake all over my face. I loved that tracksuit so much I wore it constantly. Until the day Linda White took Ethan Sullivan and me to the beach. Kids love water, but Ethan wouldn't go in. While I splashed around in my swimsuit, he stayed on shore. Maybe I played too hard? When I looked up again, Ethan was gone. I raced from east to west, standing on rocks to scan the waves. Panic clawed at my throat. I'd never lost Ethan before. When I couldn't find Linda either, with the car and snacks and clothes all gone, I just stood there drowning in the crowd. That's when I realized I was the lost one. Mom found me at the police station wrapped in a blanket, burning with fever. She went nuclear at Linda's house, screaming until her voice cracked and tears streamed down her face. Linda kept shouting through the wall. I looked everywhere. Thought she went home. We brought Ethan back first anyway. What kind of monster expects a little girl to walk half an hour home in just a swimsuit? I trembled in Mom's arms but didn't cry. Until next morning, when I saw my pink teddy bear floating in the gutter, torn, dirty, missing an eye. That's when the dam broke. I clutched the sunflower stem Dad had cut, wailing. He lied. When darkness came, he wasn't there. Only Ethan stayed. It's just a tracksuit, Ethan said flatly, though his thumb kept rubbing the fabric like it was treasure. See? I never liked wearing these anyway. Let's never wear them again. Now his fingers traced those same stitches, triumph gleaming in his eyes. Whether he cherishes the jacket or its giver, I can't tell. Not that it matters anymore. My silence must look like a blushing schoolgirl's confession. Ethan stands shoulder to shoulder with Mia Thompson, both watching me like I'm their entertainment. Passers-by slow their steps, curiosity burning in their glances. He seems to relish parading my humiliation, as if this proves his superiority. Emily. Ethan snaps. When will you stop clinging to me? With Mia here, your tricks won't work this time. The world goes quiet, even the wind softening around them. I blink rapidly, hands raised. Relax. I'm not chasing anyone. Are you two together now? I came to congratulate you. Emma was barely containing her laughter. You look so perfect for each other. You must be dating. Ethan frowned deeply, his gaze piercing through me as if offended by my casual tone. Mia stepped forward, linking her arm with his. Though you've known Ethan longer, I can tell he wasn't happy with you. Emily. Just let him go. My eyes widened. Who'd want to date this jerk? The insult hung in the air, but someone reacted faster. Ethan turned to Mia with sudden intensity. No. Mia. You've always been my first love. Only you truly understand me. Everyone else tries to control me. But you treat me like a normal person, running and jumping with me. That's real happiness. Watching Ethan's dramatic confession and Mia's bewildered acceptance, I frowned hard enough to crack walnuts. Dude, are you sure she's making you run around because she doesn't know about your condition? The couple embraced like protagonists in a teen drama, oblivious to their audience. After awkward silence, I cleared my throat. Teachers? These two are dating underage. Ethan got shoved so hard he landed but first in the sandpit. His neck creaked as he turned to see a dozen teachers glaring. Our homeroom teacher, Mrs. White, who'd been frantically signaling me earlier, finally exploded. Brilliant. Everyone else hides their puppy love. But you two perform live shows for the faculty? But teacher, Ethan scrambled up. Silence. I tolerated your tardiness for your grades. But public declarations? Running and jumping for happiness? Mrs. White spat. You date anyone who treats you human? That's pathetic standards. Mia palmed. It's not what? Save it. The teacher cut her off. Always hanging with troublemakers. Acting like some little seductress. Caught red-handed. Ethan, missing the subtext, desperately grabbed my hand. Teacher, you're wrong. I'm actually dating Emily. Mia's innocent. I gaped as Ethan's usual cold eyes pleaded. Mia helped me once. Please take the blame. You like me, right? I'll walk with you every morning if. I kicked him off. Not happening. Idiot. But I know a good neurologist if you need help. When Ethan turned to Emma, she just stared back. The teachers looked personally offended. That night, the couple became cautionary tales on the school bulletin. Their disciplinary notices glowed brighter than any teenage romance. The next morning, the entire school buzzed with gossip about Ethan two-timing his partners. Did you hear? Some dude went all out confessing his feelings right in front of the dean. Wait. Who confessed to the dean? That guy from third period, total legend. Got busted during his confession but tried throwing his childhood friend under the bus to protect some girl. Holy shit. What a dick move. Think his name's Ethan. Always trailing behind some girl looking like Wednesday Addams. I'm in the neighboring class, the other girl's Mia. Rumor says they hooked up during track meet signups. Mia from third period? Figures. We went to middle school together. Girls got more brothers than a mafia family. All tattooed wannabe gangsters. Yikes. That poor childhood friend, you think she'll get targeted? Dude's trash. Can't keep his dick in his pants and drags others down. In our monotonous high school existence, this scandal spread like wildfire. The courtyard showdown became legendary. Some couples scurried away while half the student body watched from behind lockers. The rumor mill churned out Mia's entire history. It's all true. I muttered, remembering the knuckle-dusted guys who had once cornered me near the bleachers. These days, I took the long way around campus. After their public spectacle, Ethan and Mia became inseparable. The guy who used to brood in shadows now carried frosty lemonades when Mia complained about the heat, plucking wildflowers during his errands. He drilled basketball drills under blazing sun, determined to keep Mia's Gatorade reserved for him alone. This fiery version of Ethan glowed with desperate vitality, his laughter ringing hollow as his cheeks grew hollow too. Sometimes during my evening walks, I'd spot them jogging together. The Ethan I knew, the one I'd tutored through countless nights. Both of us surviving on instant noodles to scrape into college. This sunken-cheeked stranger in baggy gym clothes wasn't him. When they passed me, his chin jutted upward like brittle bamboo defying winter winds. I ignored Mia's smirk. Exhaustion weighed heavier than pride these days. Last life. Catering to Ethan's needs left me playing catch-up in research labs. Though my published findings would save Dad's company years of trial and error, it wasn't enough. This time, I needed to sprint faster. Too many patients still withered away while Emily, you gotta hear this. Emma crashed into the study room, eyes sparkling. Ethan collapsed during track practice, face planted right on the asphalt, blood everywhere like a busted fire hydrant. My pen froze mid-equation. Did he die? Looked close. But the ambulance took him. Good. The words slipped out. Would have been too easy otherwise. Didn't know our little genius cared so much about Ethan. Mia's venomous voice cut through the room. She leaned against the doorframe, eyes glinting like broken bottle glass. Emily was the one who stayed by his side. The one who made him happy. So why did he reach out to you first when he collapsed? What do you have that I don't, just because you're better at faking it? She glanced at the documents on the table and sneered. What's with your pathetic obsession over these worthless papers? Even the teachers don't understand this crap. Who are you trying to impress with this nerdy act, addicted to playing genius? As she grew agitated, I widened my innocent eyes and whispered. Seems like you're just incompetent. Look at me, all I need is to pretend occasionally. And he can't forget me. How pathetic can you be? Even when given chances, you still fail. Mia clearly hadn't expected such bluntness, her face twisting viciously after a stunned pause. You little slut. How dare you? I'll fucking have you gang raped. Just wait, her hand shot toward my hair. But I kicked my chair backward. The loud screech of metal against floor coincided with the impact against her shin. Her scream pierced the air as tears streamed down her face. Her raised hand halted mid-swing by Emma. The commotion drew classmates to separate us, trembling in Emma's arms. I watched Mia spew vulgarities through restrained sobs. Returning students exchanged shocked glances. Their sweet innocent girl had shattered the facade. Nestling closer to Emma, I subtly checked the security camera in the corner before wiping fresh tears. Linda arrived first, much to my disappointment at the uneventful journey. Pushing open the door, I found her clutching my mother's hands in theatrical sobs. From my angle, the fleeting frustration in her eyes betrayed her performance. This confrontation arrived years earlier than my previous life. Ethan's sudden health deterioration had accelerated everything. The Sullivan family's relocation had been abrupt. Memories surfaced of that timid boy being pushed toward me by his mother. Our friendship blossomed over years, his rare illness coinciding with my father being the leading specialist in that very field. I'd believed fate allowed me to save my beloved through diligent study, but engineered coincidences birthed tragedies. Only later did I learn Ethan was the Sullivan family's illegitimate heir. Only later understood their calculated closeness aimed to exploit my father's expertise for their inheritance war. They'd steered my life like puppeteers. Every belated realization became chains dragging me deeper until the lake's darkness claimed me. Yet death should have taken the architects of this misery, not their pawn. Lowering my head, I concealed simmering rage. Linda noticed my entrance and lunged through fake tears. Emily, you have to save Ethan. Those quacks claim he overexerted himself. This wouldn't have happened if he hadn't been out with you day and night. You must fix this. I sidestepped her grasping hands. Shouldn't doctors handle medical emergencies? Besides, when did Ethan ever accompany me? Her tear-wiping gesture faltered. He's been returning late every night. Sometimes not at all. Surely you. Her suggestive glance toward my mother's stormy expression reeked of implication. The unspoken accusation hung putrid in the air. I couldn't help rolling my eyes. This was ruining my happy homecoming. Stepping around her, I linked arms with my mother and said cheerfully, "What are you talking about? Aunt Linda? When have I ever stayed out all night? Mom was at home cooking and waiting for me." On the other hand, I heard Ethan has been dating someone recently. Didn't he tell you? Linda's face paled, whether from the deliberate pause in my tone or some sudden realization. She forced a strained smile. Don't joke like that. Emily. You've liked Ethan for so long. If he's dating anyone, it should be you. How could? My mother immediately bristled. If your stomach's small, eat less pig slop. Spouting nonsense the moment you open your mouth. When has my daughter ever liked your sickly weakling? Just because two kids went to school together, does that mean they have to get married? Linda's smile turned awkward. After an uncomfortable pause, she said, "There must be some cheap hussy seducing him. Don't be upset, Emily. Besides, isn't it your fault for not keeping your man interested? Ethan still likes you. He'll come crawling back after he's done playing around. Men will have their flings, but they always marry proper girls in the end." I stared in disbelief while my mother snorted with laughter. Gold diggers really do have thick skin. Linda's face flushed crimson. If the whole neighborhood wasn't talking about it, would I ever consider your family? You're the ones throwing your daughter at us. That little slut's built like a common tramp. And you can't even bear a son. My boy's going to be a future billionaire heir. We're giving you a chance to climb up in the world. Yet you dare put on airs. She began smashing my mother's potted plants like a madwoman, screeching, "Your husband's never home. Who knows how many men you've dragged in at night? Raising some fatherless bastard, I must have been blind to approach you." A gust of wind blew through the courtyard. I stepped forward, pivoting at the waist. My arm snapped out like a whip, the sharp crack of my palm meeting Linda's cheek echoing through the garden. "You're the blind one, daring to make scenes here." Linda staggered back, clutching her face. "You little bitch." She lunged for my hair, only to be sent flying by my mother's flower fertilizer bucket crashing over her head. "Trash who sleeps her way up." My mother sneered, planting her foot on the overturned bucket. "Think people don't mock you behind your back? They just don't want to touch filth like you." When my father came to collect us from the police station, my mother held her head high like a victorious rooster. The officers waved off my father's apologies with knowing smiles. Linda stood cowering behind a beaming fat man who kept bowing to my father before hastily departing. Watching me devour my late dinner, my father looked conflicted. In my past life, I'd resented his constant absence until walking his corporate path brought understanding. "Not hungry, Dad? Don't like Mom's cooking?" He startled, then began eating with forced decorum. "The materials you submitted, they're groundbreaking. Why take the risk? Aren't you afraid of becoming a lab rat?" Setting down my bowl, I met his gaze squarely. Every day we save could mean thousands of lives. I want to spare fellow researchers unnecessary detours. My voice softened. "I trust our nation. And I trust you, Dad." The man with graying temples studied me for a long moment before sighing. "You've grown up too fast. You must have suffered a lot." My vision blurred with tears for some reason. "It's all in the past now." Mom hugged me tightly while glaring at Dad, who stood awkwardly scratching his head. "What nonsense are you spouting? You just got back and already made our girl cry." That night, Mom declared she'd avenge me and told me not to interfere. Their bedroom door remained shut all night. The sound of rain pattering on banana leaves outside. I barely slept. Clearly, Mom was furious. Mia Thompson and Linda White got into a fight at the school gate. Linda grabbed Mia's hair, screaming viciously, "You shameless homewrecker. My son was perfectly healthy until you came along. I've spent 15 years raising him and you ruined his health overnight. I'll beat the vixen out of you." Ever since Mia dropped her good girl act in front of classmates, she'd stopped pretending. Her insults turned vicious. Ethan Sullivan's practically impotent. Needs pills just to function. Useless at everything. Like mother like son, your whole family's full of idiots. Their catfight became quite the spectacle. I missed it. But Emma Davis gave me a vivid play-by-play. Later, Ethan returned to school. I stared blankly at him, blocking my path. "Shouldn't you be in the hospital? What do you want?" Ethan clenched his jaw, left eye blazing with defiance, right eye screaming resentment. Finally he deflated like a punctured balloon. "Emily, you win. I'll be your boyfriend." My brain short-circuited. It felt like biting into bitter melon only to find it rotten inside. "Are you out of your mind?" Ethan's expression darkened. "Isn't this what you wanted? Using my condition to force me away from Mia. But even if you have my body, my heart will always belong to her." I took a step back, keeping my tone measured. "First, I want nothing to do with you. Second, I never want to see you. Finally, get psychiatric help." Ethan seemed relieved. Waving dismissively, he said, "Fine." I apologized. "You've had your tantrum. We're good now. Busy today, wait at your door tonight. We'll walk home together." He left mid-sentence, leaving me utterly bewildered. During my final days of school, Ethan haunted me like a specter. "Emily, are you insane? Can't take a hint?" He slammed steamed buns on my desk, glaring furiously. His constant harassment finally broke me. I smacked his hand away. "You're the lunatic. I said I don't want them. But I bought these myself." "So? I already ate. Why would I want your stupid vegetarian buns?" Ethan froze, gesturing at the buns as if they held special significance. "This is what I bought," I said. His eyes filled with disbelief as he stared intently at my face, as if waiting for me to reveal shock or regret any second. I pushed him away and stated seriously, "So what if you bought it? Is it any different from other steamed buns?" "Ethan, you mean nothing special to me. Do you think this is some lover's quarrel? That I'll come crawling back after you coldly hand me bottled water and snacks? What delusional fantasy are you living in?" He staggered backward, nearly losing his balance. "Impossible. You couldn't possibly stop loving me. No one would." "This can't be happening," Ethan interrupted me, that inexplicable wounded look resurfacing in his eyes. "You've loved me for years. You can't just give up like this. I won't allow it. Mia and I already broke up. What more do you want? Do I have to die for you to be satisfied?" If Ethan were mute, his dramatic expression alone would have branded me the villainess. Every past kindness I'd shown him now transformed into arrows aimed at my own heart. He kept reappearing like clockwork, as if checking off some obligatory task. In the equipment room, I found Ethan and Mia locked in a passionate embrace. "My poor Mia," he murmured tenderly. "Emily's jealousy is making you suffer. That vile woman can't stand seeing me find true love." Mia feigned concern. "But what if she truly refuses to help? Emily's always been selfish, obsessed with controlling others. She even sabotaged my relationship with Linda, all to punish you." Ethan's voice turned hoarse. "What choice do I have but to swallow my pride and appease her?" A venomous gleam flashed through Mia's eyes as she smiled. "Linda gave me something special. A little substance to lower inhibitions. My friends can help bring Emily here. We'll film everything. She'll have to secure your medical treatment slot or face mutually assured destruction." "But that's illegal." Ethan stammered. Just get her to the location. My friends will handle the rest. After weighted silence came his gritted response, fine. This is exactly how we should deal with heartless people like her. You always know what's best. Mia. Of course. When you inherit the Sullivan family fortune, don't forget who helped you. I quietly switched off my recorder and slipped away, having finally obtained concrete evidence after weeks of surveillance. Dangerous snakes should be dealt with before they strike. The day of Ethan's arrest caused citywide chaos, a dozen thugs fleeing police through downtown streets. Later, I shuddered realizing how close I'd come to disaster. Had Dr. David Clark's mentor, academician Kim, not coincidentally arrived with his security detail to evaluate me that day. Ethan had just lured me out when his hired gang literally crashed into academician Kim's motorcade. The sight of armed men surrounding a national scholars convoy triggered immediate code red protocols. Half the city's police force mobilized, apprehending all 18 suspects within hours. With existing criminal records, their sentencing would be severe. The officer looked up from my evidence file. Miss Clark, any final statements? Academician Jean sat across from me, smiling like a kindly neighborhood grandfather. I kept my head down, ignoring my father's frantic eye signals. The incriminating recordings in my possession could destroy them all, yet I cared nothing for that, only his attitude mattered. Academician Jin's smile remained unchanged, his eyes piercing through pretense. The materials you submitted don't just lead current research by nearly a decade. The new technologies involved essentially provide answers and directions we hadn't even thought to pursue. The implications are immeasurable. I looked up abruptly, cutting him off. If heaven gave me a second chance, it wasn't just to settle scores with scum. But the fact remains they've harmed me across 2 lifetimes now. I demand maximum punishment. Public ruin. Family destruction. I want to see them broken. Academician Jean nodded as if expecting this. And after? If possible, I'd resume my research. Some are born to paths of thorns, I want to clear theirs. I'll devote myself to science, seeking neither wealth nor power, just cures for all diseases. Behind him, 2 note-taking assistants froze mid-scribble. Our conversation flowed with startling synergy, academician Jean and I discovering unexpected alignment in our visions. When we escorted him out, he paused by his car. What if we refused your terms? I shrugged. I'd grudgingly devote myself to research anyway. His laughter echoed through the courtyard. After graduation, I wandered the world meeting countless faces, many never seen again. During rare calls home, mother's chatter painted mundane dramas, the compounds peaceful. Though we never see the old crowd anymore. Since you left, they're cracking down hard on school bullies, even your high school principal got fired. Street fights vanished, 2 kids with dyed hair get ID checked twice now. The day the Sullivan family announced their heir, Linda White showed up with pregnant Mia Thompson claiming Ethan's posthumous child. The DNA test got them thrown out. All those years researching cures, only to save vermin. Mother continued. Linda got her gifted apartment reclaimed by the real Mrs. Sullivan and a broken leg to boot. Now she pesters some Mia girl for support, decent kid turned dropout with who knows what diseases. I listened absently, smiling. Some memories aren't worth keeping. Say sister. Mother urged the toddler in her arms. Your dad and sister belong to the nation now, don't follow them. Little scene. The babbling child made me rub my nose awkwardly. I'd given family too little time, first held by parents, then holding them with my brother. Always busy, never resting. From Junior Clark to MS. Clark then Old Clark, I never married but raised countless children. My cured patience. In spare moments, I taught from my own textbooks. Though naps often interrupted lessons, they'd drape me with the national flag, tiptoeing to avoid waking me. On the path, I spotted white-haired seeing Clark in a lab coat, another disobedient child. My kids gathered, stifling giggles behind hands. Crowds clutched my books, reciting passages silently. I listened to the sound of reading and gradually fell asleep. Literature carries the essence of truth, passing the torch through generations. How wonderful!